Hey guys, Legendary Grimlock here, and today we're going to discuss Galvatron, the Thanos of Transformers, if you will. This is basically a remake of an very old very old power scaling video I made. So without further ado, let's begin. Galvatron's origins, or at least his original origins, is actually not a G1 version of Megatron, but who's actually forged in the fires of a god. And from Jazz's perspective, he was unstoppable, taking out multiple Autobots and Decepticons. But in the IDW version, he's actually the older brother to RC, and he spent years in the pits of Chaos as one of the gladiators, separating him from, Megatron himself as pretty much a futuristic version of him. So in all honesty, he kind of grew from this timeline equivalent himself. He's incredibly strong, actually stronger than Optimus Prime, Megatron, and a base level Grimlock himself. He's actually been able to simply just backhand Optimus Prime, rip Megatron in half, basically giving him his own taste of his own medicine. So I guess Jazz is saying that's how it feels, right? You then have the sheer fact he has several team-busting feats, such as being able to fight against, the Wreckers. And this is a team that consisted of Springer, Impactor, Roadbuster, and Rotostorm, who were some of the most dangerous Wreckers at that time. The Wreckers themselves would scale to, the characters like the Decepticon Justice Division and, Overlord himself, who has been able to fight against Megatron and hold his own pretty well. He's also been able to overpower Optimus Prime, RC, and Soundwave, all at the same time, with them eventually winning because Soundwave was finally able to read his thoughts and actually used his abilities. Go look at my Superpower Transformers in part 1, and that'll pretty much explain Soundwave's abilities there. You then have the fact that he overpowered the Dinobots, Decepticons, and Blaster, who pretty much scales to Grimlock. But he didn't do it all at the same time. However, he actually overpowered them like in sections. Like he overpowered Blaster, then he overpowered the Dinobots. Then he overpowered the Dinobots and Blaster at the same time. And then the Decepticons came in and he didn't want to hurt them. So he did a little bit of damage and he fled. So Galvatron pretty much cements himself as one of the stronger, pretty much the strongest Cybertronian out there. But that's not all he's done. He's overpowered and beaten down the Wrecker Commander Ultra Magnus like it was nothing. He then goes on to fight against a Power Master Optimus Prime. If you guys know how much of an amp that is, that gives you a 30%, or at least, sorry, no, not 30%. I think it was the same as a Headmaster, like a 60% increase in power. And Galvatron's actually ridiculously durable. He was able to take pretty much a bloodlusted Sideswipe blows, and believe it or not, Sideswipe could have killed him. He could have, but he should have aimed for the head. That's all it really is. He's durable enough to take attacks from the Autobots of Earth, durable enough to withstand, Grimlock's and the Dinobots' flames. He's been able to take a beating from a Prowl-fused Devastator, which is stronger than the regular Devastator naturally, because again, this is kind of like you add a much stronger component than your regular, basis. Plus, Prowl is the extra component that makes Devastator much stronger. So, he's incredibly strong. He's also able to tank Megatron's fusion cannon. As I've said before, Megatron contains trans-dimensional energy within his body, and his fusion cannon allows him to pretty much blast that at his opponents. But let's go into his hacks, right? Well, no, hold on, wait. Almost forgot one more feat. He's been able to take attacks and tank Erasure from Nova Prime. And this is a Nova Prime who has the powers of Devoid. Now, Devoid is an entity that pretty much feeds off of universes. And he's basically like a living universe himself here. But let's go into the Heart of Darkness. This is what Galvatron pretty much steals from Nova Prime and basically makes his own. Okay, and basically he takes the power of a darker, much more violent universe and makes it his own. This power actually gives him a major boost to his energy capabilities, and it's permanent. He never lost this, so he would always have the Heart of Darkness. He's able to, use this fusion cannon to be able to attack multiple targets. It pretty much just amped his energy levels just way beyond the norm. He's been able to do a lot of things with this. He's been able to not only kill headmasters, but actually steal the information from them and make it his own. Basically, it's like extracting information from someone's mind, or at least siphoning, the I guess you could say siphoning the power from them. But he's also been able to use this to pretty much make energy bombs. However, you could say the real fun comes from it when he's able to corrupt those. He's even able to corrupt someone as mentally fortified as Drift, and goes further as to pretty much turn him against his own allies. He's even able to resurrect the dead. Not only that, he's able to manipulate time of sorts of way to return them back to their original state. You can say he's repairing them, but it's actually described as him pretty much returning them to their original states with, they still remember all that stuff. Or you could say this is basically him being able to reconstruct beings to his power. And again, there's also the fact that he's able to siphon off an opponent's power, pretty much just adding it to his own and just making him, that much stronger. And again, he's still able to resurrect the dead and keep him as simple, Terracons. So yeah, Galvatron has a plethora of abilities with the Heart of Darkness, but did you know he also had a time traveling device back in the day? Yeah, like back in the classic days, he was actually able to manipulate time. He was able to transport and teleport just wherever he wanted to. He was even able to freeze opponents in time for a good while and pretty much just use it to either escape them when they weren't his goal, or they just he would use it to follow up his attacks here. He also has some higher level feats to his name that actually just make him ridiculous. For starters, he was able to kill Nexus Prime. Yes, the Nexus Prime. The first combiner. The multiversal singularity Nexus Prime. Also, he's pretty much one-shot the base level of Nova Prime, which was slightly beyond the levels of Optimus Prime. And it's funny because he beat Nova Prime 2 times. Also for speed, just a quick recap, he's able to match characters like Cyclonus pretty easily. And as for other feats, he's been able to defeat Piranacon, which you could actually count as a team buster, considering that combiners are literally like 5-man teams. However, Piranacon has the same way as Devastator. He's made of 6. He's been able to take blasters, supersonic attacks, who would be on the same level as Soundwave, and he was only hurt by it. And he's defeated a Primus amped Rodimus Prime. Yeah, Galvatron's pretty solid. Galvatron is by far one of the most solid characters in Transformers comics. Really does not have any inconsistency. You might say, "Oh well, what about RC?" RC is actually a beast in the IDW Transformers comics, and the sheer fact that this man was still able to kill Nexus Prime, spent years in the pits of Chaos, meaning he's a master at pit combat, possibly at all forms of combat, the same as Megatron, Optimus Prime, Grimlock, Skids, and others. And again, him being able to kill Nexus Prime, who, is one of the few primes, pretty much one of the only primes that Optimus Prime has a stronger connection to, being able to fight against and defeat characters like Blaster, being able to defeat a base Grimlock. It's absolutely ridiculous how powerful Galvatron is. He's been, and again, with the scaling and stuff, he's been able to overpower, Megatron, pretty much just rip the guy in half here, with Megatron still being able to defeat the Devoid entity, or at least the pure entity of Devoid himself. And like I said earlier, Devoid is a living version of a dead universe, and dead universes are still known as some of the building blocks of pretty much the Transformers multiverse, which is, again, as I said before, infinite in size. Him being able to destroy Nexus Prime, who's also able to wield the true Star Saber, being able to one-shot the, again, infinite multiverse. You then have the Optimus Prime scaling. I really don't think I need to get into IDW Optimus Prime. Just too much here, as his video will be right after Grimlock's video. Then, but still, let's give a little bit of scaling. Being able to defeat Thunderwing, who's been pretty much a threat to, pretty much a threat to, the Transformers universe. Again, being able to cause destruction across an infinite universe, and him being able to eventually defeat and overpower Nova Prime within the dead universe that he controlled, and he just straight up just he killed him once he got his stuff, pretty much got his mindset together. Then you have the sheer fact that he's been able to take attacks from Regenesis Shockwave, who was going to collapse space and time, and had the power of 2 universes on his side. So overall, Galvatron is definitely the Thanos of Transformers, while I'll say the Fallen is the dark side of Transformers here. So in all honesty, yeah, I definitely say he's above Optimus Prime and Megatron. So that would basically make him, I would say he's Skyfather tier. Same areas as I guess low Skyfather maybe. Same characters as Odin. No, sorry, not in the same caliber. Same caliber as characters like Thanos and Darkseid, where you have just that tier, or you could probably say that mid Skyfather tier, but I wouldn't put him on the exact levels of characters like the Fallen. So yeah, he would be in the lower, or at least in the godly outerversal tiers, probably in, I would say in the same realm as IDW Optimus, still slightly above though. But anyway, that's going to be all for today, you guys. Just comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I'll see you guys later for the next video. Peace.